of estimate and contracts into order. Hearing none, roll call.
Controller Reynolds,
No.
Council President Copeland,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Thank you. Item number 3 is authorizing the Department of Public Works to transfer funds within the 2020 budget for the sum of $68,000.
So moved. Seconded. On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Controller Reynolds,
No.
Council President Copeland,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Thank you. Item number 4 is authorizing the Mount Vernon Board of Water Supply to enter into an agreement with Springbrook Software.
So moved. Seconded. On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Controller Reynolds,
No, separate entity from the city.
Council President Copeland,
Aye.
and Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Thank you. Item number 5 is authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Metis Associates through the Ready for Life program.
So moved. Seconded. On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Controller Reynolds, how say you, madam?
I have to abstain. No agreement was received in regards to this.
I'm sorry, repeat your abstention reason, please. Thank you. I'm sorry, Madam Controller, would you kindly repeat your reason for abstention?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay.
Would you,
So I abstain. I haven't received any documents regarding this matter.
thank you. Council President Copeland?
Aye.
Thank you. And Mayor Patterson Howard?
Aye.
Thank you. For item number 6, it's authorizing the carryover of vacation days beyond the allowed 20 days carryover time.
So moved. Seconded. On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Controller Reynolds,
No.
Council President Copeland,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Thank you. Item number 7 is authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with the County of Westchester Department of Public Safety and the Westchester County Office of Drug Abuse Prevention and Stop DWI.
So moved. Seconded. On the question? Hearing none, roll call?
Controller Reynolds,
Yes.
Council President Copeland,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Thank you. Item number 8 is amending ordinance number 26 adopted September 9th, 2020, entitled an ordinance amending resolution number 8 adopted March 11th, 2020, entitled an ordinance authorizing the mayor to accept a grant from the Mount Vernon Urban Renewal Agency for the sum of $365,782.
So moved. It's production, okay. Seconded. On the question? Hearing none, roll call?
Controller Reynolds, I'll say you, madam.
No.
Council President Copeland, I'll say you, madam.
Aye.
And Mayor Patterson Howard, I'll say you.
Aye, thank you very much. This is part of our city's rise, which we spoke about, which will allow us to hire at no cost to the city, a code enforcement officer to address code enforcement issues, especially for those who are renters throughout the city. It will also allow us to hire at no cost to the city, an attorney to deal with housing violation issues, again, at no cost to the city. And I believe an innovation person, code enforcement manager, code enforcement officer, and the attorney in the corporation counsel's office. So this money that is coming from HUD through the Urban Renewal Agency to the city in the amount of $365,782 is directly designed to improve quality of life for our residents here in Mount Vernon by ensuring that we are enforcing building codes and housing codes. Thank you very much. Next item.
Thank you. Item number 9 is under the category of settlements, and it's settling the claim of Spring Tech Corporation for the sum of $35,000.
So moved. Seconded. On the question?
Okay, so basically this matter is on for discussion as, Spring Tech was a lawsuit that was filed by a vendor due to non-payment. The law department had determined that the city had no legal defense to this non-payment as the funds were available in the Department of Public Works. We asked this board to enter into a settlement for the amount owed to the vendor, and you adopted it on November 4th. The comptroller has rejected the payment and has refused to pay the vendor.
Okay. Commissioner Bush, do you have anything on this issue?
Yeah, so Spring Tech is a vendor that supplies all the springs for our sanitation trucks and heavy equipment. This is another situation where we've been putting in, trying to submit the vouchers, she's accepted.
If you could just speak up a little louder.
When she refused to accept it, and then it's another situation where it's on purchase orders in units where we have about $340,000 in outstanding bills that are still caught up in units that haven't been paid by all. So this is another situation where she's not acknowledging purchase orders in units.
And the problem here is that this is a court active case, right? So we settled the case, but what's going to happen is if this is not paid, then we're going to reopen the case. The city is going to be, in default.
Subjected
Yeah,
to,
right.
We're going to be
9% again
And
per annum, I
increased
think, and
attorney
so she rejected the invoices and indicated the wrong code. I think, although she did not specify what, the code that this board agreed to, because you are the board of estimate, that these funds would come out of DPW where we believe the money should be, rather than boosting up the amount of money applied to the law department's judgments and settlements inappropriately. This is something that is coming out of DPW, and the code is correct.
The
Nonetheless.
code, just to be clear, the code is for motor vehicle control parts.
Right.
That is the code it should have initially been paid out of when the work was performed in 2018, from October 30th to December 6, 2018. They waited for an entire year to file a lawsuit against us. We have settled this claim. We have, as a board, designated, and as the council, they designated the payment to come out of the motor vehicle parts. And to date, the controller has failed to make this payment, and we are now at jeopardy of being in fault if we don't settle this, right?
Well, yeah,
We're
at any time, they could
trying
take
to
us back to court and get the 9% per annum. My understanding is, as the comptroller has a system, you have to get a meeting to submit invoices. She looks at every single invoice, and then if she rejects it, she'll say she never received it. And then what happens is you gotta wait till the next month or whenever when you get something to deal with it. But we just don't have that kind of time, as you will see with the next one where we tried to get an agreement and the board adopted it, the comptroller didn't pay it, and we had to pay 9% per annum on that, which is $55,000, but that's the next item.
Okay, so any more comments? on
Yes,
this
I
question?
have a comment since all of this is ridiculous that you all are stating right now, including you, Corporation Counsel. Basically, you're talking about 2018. Mayor Paxton Howard, you weren't even in office, so what would you know? Just like you don't know today. You still have your departments bringing down vouchers and invoices months, even years behind. They're still coming for 2018, and you know about this. What have you done about it? Nothing. So basically, you're talking about settling something that has not even come downstairs today. This is the problem that we have in North London. You're spending all taxpayer money frivolously. You're settling cases that you are unaware of. What you need to do is start coming downstairs and finding out how we can mitigate risk instead of start continuing to throw away taxpayer money. This is what happens. So item number 9, item number 10.
We're on item number 8 right now. If we can,
Nine.
we're on item number 9. We're on item number 9. Can we please focus on item number 9? Point of order, we are on item number 9.
Interrupt you.
Point of order, we are on item number 9. We will discuss the future items when we get to this.
The problem is you, Mayor Paxton Howard, because you're effective in what you do. You have
Thank
not taken the opportunity and to have a staff member speak against me. It's ridiculous. We have to talk about all of the times that your departments don't bring things down on time. And yes, I make appointments. I know how to run a business. And that's why I'm the controller. As mayor, you should be doing the same that I'm doing. Micromanaging your staff to make sure things like this don't happen because they're not doing their jobs effectively and getting those things downstairs, putting the correct account codes on vouchers. This is a systemic problem that has happened even before my tenure. It was happening in Marlene's time. So while we're trying to straighten out all the mess that is happening upstairs, we continue to get these settlements that the law department continues to do. Recklessly throw away taxpayer money that is not owed. And another thing, you guys took me to court, you and your city council, stating I don't pay the bills. Well, in fact, you pay the bills. You just don't know it. I mean, as a social worker, I know you know how to go out there and create school and things like that, but that's not what this is about. This is government. I'm talking about running the people's business, which you do not do. So you can sit up here all you want and try to say, oh, the control of this, the control of that, put your DPW against me and your law department. It's meaningless. Just do your job. Make sure the vouchers come down on time and the invoices. And what happened with the media system, there was a court case around in 89-1. So you don't know what you're talking about for 18. You just got here in 20, and you're constantly recklessly spending taxpayer dollars. So I'm here today to tell you the truth of the fact of the matter. So you can sit up there with all your staff members and create a false narrative against me, but it's meaningless. It means nothing. Just do your job. Make sure that you mitigate risk and stop throwing away taxpayer money with these frivolous settlements.
So thank you very much.
I do.
Thank you very much for your very well prepared.
For 9, 10, and 11.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Madam Controller, for your comments. The sum was $39,831 that we owed them.
Right.
And we are looking to settle with them. We are looking to settle with them for $4,000 less than what they owe them without interest. You asked me not to interrupt you. You have the information. The information has been in Munis. And insofar as my master's degree in public administration,
How would anybody know you?
my master's degree in public administration, which is about, no, I do.
Do we have
I
the
do
ability?
have a master's degree in public administration, which focuses on government. Do you need some help, ma'am? Do you need help? Do you need help? Well, thank you very much. So, Council President Copeland, do you have any comments?
But
You have any
I
questions?
do, I just want to say one thing. I think-
Everybody else can talk except for me. And you know what, Corporation Council?
I recognize the Corporation Council.
You're the one settling all.
Can I please be made host?
Your money.
Point of order. Point of order, you are not recognized right
Do
now.
you have a action for me?
Point of order, you are not recognized right now. You're not recognized. Point of order. Point of order for the third time, Council, Controller Reynolds, you are not being recognized right now.
Oh, please, I don't need you to recognize me, miss.
What would you like me to do, ma'am?
I need to be made host
I'm
or
not getting
co-host.
recognized. I'm the comptroller.
Oh,
All the things that you're creating to
No,
destroy this
but
city.
she said some stuff that's not true, so I have to
okay,
address
so
it.
please address it.
All right, so
You are
first off,
recognized,
thank you.
Corporation
So,
Council.
what I think that the comptroller fails to recognize, and she has not, I'm sorry,
So,
ma'am, I did not
because,
interrupt you.
hold on, stop. So as the chair of the Board of Estimate and Contracts, I am invoking Robert's Rules of Order. I've asked for a point of order. I have recognized Corporation Counsel Johnson. And at this time, because the controller continues to interrupt, I will now take the liberty, and which I have the authority as the chair.
No, you
To
don't.
mute you,
just
thank you.
presiding officer. I have continued to tell you. You say on the question and vote.
So she is muted at this time.
Okay.
Thank you, please
So,
proceed. And when, I will unmute her when it is time to recognize her again.
okay, so let me just address. One of the things is, I don't believe that the comptroller understands the position.
Just speak loudly enough.
I don't believe that the comptroller understands the position of the Corporation Council. She's correct in that I am starting to settle lawsuits to mitigate damages because they should not be lawsuits.
Absolutely.
They are indefensible. They're surrounded by employee pay that is not being paid, that employees are entitled to. They're surrounded by bill payment issues where people actually have to sue us to get payment. As you know, we have our cleaning staff in the midst of COVID walked into my office yesterday, said they're not doing cleaning. I suspect that that would be an unnecessary lawsuit. But here's where the comptroller doesn't understand. Political arguments are not legal defenses.
They're not.
Whether or not the money is there or in a line or whatever, she's saying is not a legal defense. And since she uses an unauthorized attorney, right, and has not a budget code, nowhere in the charter, should she have an ongoing staff attorney wasting hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Hundreds of thousands of
All
dollars.
right, and I would presume that if she's going to usurp my authority and she's going to ignore my advice, that he would at least tell her that what she's saying are not legal defenses. If someone sues the city for payment and we don't, you're paying for lawyers, you're paying for her lawyer, you're paying for our lawyer to serve indefensible lawsuits, and then we're getting hit with 9% interest back to the date that the people were owed. So I'm supposed to settle the lawsuits because I am working on behalf of the residents of Mount Vernon, and I'm trying to mitigate the
Liability.
dysfunction and the liability. I'll be able to prove my story without cross my i's and dot my t's. So her narrative is not correct, and I wish she would work with me, you know. That's
Absolutely.
it. I mean, there's no more to say.
So we are ready to take the vote, and I will unmute the controller at this time.
Madam Controller, would you kindly come off mute, please?
I'm trying to unmute her.
You can only request it, and then she has to be
First
on
of
the
all,
call.
it is the law to mute me, because I can't defend myself as controller, and I'm going to.
You're out of order.
I cannot explain to the constituents.
You explained, I gave you the time.
Illegally, what you and your corporation council are doing illegal.
So then please call the state
Madam-
controller.
Give me, Mayor Paxton Howard.
Are we?
We're on the vote.
We're on the vote.
If I may, Madam Controller.
No, we are on the vote, and I am asking you to please to proceed.
Yes, ma'am. Madam Controller, how say you on topic number 9, madam?
I have the right to know the information you have not provided it to me.
Madam Controller has chosen not to vote, and she's continued, and we will mute her again.
Madam Controller?
Point of order, point of order. Madam Controller, point of order number 2. Madam Controller, point of order number 3. She has chosen not to vote. We will now mute her.
Madam Controller, how say you on item
She
number
chose not to
9?
vote. I ask that you please proceed with the
All
vote.
right, all right.
I've muted her.
Council President Copeland, how say you, ma'am?
This is on the string number 9, right?
Well, you really don't need to.
Point of order, please. We are in the vote. There is no, I'm sorry.
But you're taking an unnecessary vote. You don't need to vote on it. It's basically on here for discussion. It was approved in November 4th. So I'm asking you to not take the vote.
So why was there a
It was already
motion? Why was there a motion made?
So yeah, you can withdraw it, but I don't want you to re-vote to create, for something already voted on. The full effect of this board on November 4th
On November 4th.
was to do this. It's on the agenda because there needs to be public discussion because of the narrative that's going around that is not incorrect, and we need to let the people know exactly what's going on here.
So we will withdraw the motion and we'll move on to number 10.
Yep.
Thank you.
Is 10 the same as 9? Did we vote on 10 already?
Yes, so it's
So we
on
voted on 10 already, and just
November 4th.
on November 4th, we also voted on number 10. So number 10 is PCI. And PCI, we owe them for, is this for the paving?
Street, on the
Yes.
river.
This is for the street paving. So we voted to settle, the lawsuit against us brought by PCI back on November 4th, I'm sorry. And the controller has failed to pay it.
She wouldn't pay it.
We went into settlement with them, and it was with minimal interest. They have, or none. They waived the interest at that time.
So what happened is, and you know, what the law department has done in the case of Spring Tech and in PCI, I have reached out and had my attorneys reach out to these entities indicating that we want to get them paid as quickly as possible. But I don't get the cooperation that I need to mitigate from the comptroller's office. And so, you know, you can see an example of what we get back. So the case proceeded, and then the court ultimately issued a judgment back to March 2019. We have to pay. This is an additional $55,000 on top of what they were originally claiming. So if I can't, you know, work with the comptroller's office, then, you know, and to the point that she says that we bring invoices down years late, and some of the invoices that are coming in late should have been paid. She's right. This administration came in here on January 1st, and what we have found is a lot of invoices, old invoices from 2018, 2019 that she either had or should have had. The law department, we submit things as we receive them. Admittedly, some law firms are going through their books, realizing that this comptroller has never paid them from some invoices back from 2018 to 2019. She's right. We should not be talking about old bills. She's 100% right about that.
To that point, we have documentation over and over. We have consistently made a record of trying to bring documents downstairs, and she has failed to receive them, refused to receive them. We even have documents that she has received that when we resubmit them after she stamped them, saying that she's received them and accepted them, she still hasn't paid them. To that end, that's what we're dealing with right now with cleaners here in the building. She received documentation back in September and August for September and October bills, and she has yet to pay them. So the cleaners for the building have quit or taken a leave until they're paid. There are many bills downstairs. It took her 6 months to pay the New York State Emergency Tenant Protection Act bills. That was information that she received in May. And Mount Vernon ended up being one of the last 2 communities in the entire state to pay that bill. I believe I signed that check about 2 weeks ago after speaking to the New York State Division of Housing and Community Renewal. So it's not just bills internally. It's bills with vendors from the state. There's monies that she was supposed to return to the state of New York for the Department of the old Brownfield grant that has taken her months to return. There's monies that HUD has asked her to return that she has still failed to return and misses deadlines. So I understand the narrative that she needs to create. And then she also, when she refuses to accept bills from commissioners over and over, when she finally chooses to accept them, she makes them sign an affidavit saying that they are at fault, they handed them in late. I've instructed them to sign those affidavits or sign the paperwork because our focus is not on being right. Our focus is on making sure that these bills and our vendors get paid so we can continue to do the business of the city. As you said, this is an issue that predated me, but it has been more of an issue since 2018 when the controller came into office. I will unmute you, ma'am, if you would like to unmute yourself, please. You have the ability to unmute yourself if you have something to say.
Indicate this was legislated on which meeting? Is that
November
December 1st?
4th. So we don't have to take a
November
vote on
4th.
this.
Facebook family and friends, do you see the corruption that's happening in Mount Vernon right now with this mayor? She resembles former Mayor Thomas. She's doing the same exact things, lying every day, creating these false narratives to fool you while she's spending every dime. As a matter of fact, Mayor Patterson Howitt's $118 million budget has already been.
It's not on the agenda, Mayor.
$30,000 to $50,000 raises, promotion, new hires, there's no money left. She's bankrupting the city. Facebook family and friends, I want you to know what we have in front of us. See, because the narrative is to create smoky mirrors, blame the controller for everything, right? And the controller, that's their false narrative. They make up all these lies and excuses. She has a whole team. She's paying their salary. Why wouldn't they do it for her? But it's against the law and it's unjust. Right now, I'm holding for the city of Mount Vernon involved. This mayor and her city council are ruining this place.
Would you like to go to item number 11?
Yeah. I'm gonna get your
That
outside.
is going to suffer because of her. Taxpayers are going to receive increases because of her negligence. She knows nothing about running a city government, and neither does her commissioners, because right now they are the very ones that were the Thomas administration that created all of these frivolous problems. They don't bring down the numbers, and why they have to sign it, because it is their fault. Months, even years behind, the comptroller's office is still receiving bills. Will the mayor take responsibility? Absolutely not. She wants to be perfect patty. Anything that goes wrong, don't put it on me. Let's blame somebody else. This is what she does. It's not even funny. You're funny.
It's
You're funny
hilarious.
because you don't know your job and you don't know what you're doing. I'm not gonna say.
Oh, we got
Are So we're gonna move
You
forward.
have no idea what you're doing, Mayor Patterson Howard. You are destroying this city with your council members. Like I said before, create a budget. You're spending money
Do you
on
have anything to
reserves.
say, Council President?
I mean,
That's
mean,
unfair to the people.
just like
You
count,
made a mistake.
Okay, so thank you very much. I'm going to recognize Council President Copeland. I'm recognizing now Council President Copeland. Thank you.
With all due respect,
Can you please
Controller.
speak up louder?
With all due respect, Madam Controller, the council operates and legislates based on information that we receive from the Corporation Council and the departments. We have no reason not to believe that they're telling us the truth, based on what we receive. We can
I
look
put my
and we can
license on
read.
it. I put my license on
I
it.
mean, that-
You don't even know what you're talking about, with your defective legislation every time it comes to the board that's in conflict with your council members. All you people do is vote whatever the mayor says, whether it's
That's not-
right or right. You don't know what you're doing.
That's absolutely not true. We're trying to, this is why the city can't move forward, because of this.
You're gonna sit here, council.
Can you please finish your comments, Council
No,
President? I
this is
recognize you.
this is ridiculous. This council, we're all elected separately, and we have disagreements, we have.
You created all of these lawsuits by not doing.
I recognize the Council
I'm
President.
sorry, I'm not gonna keep speaking.
I recognize the Council President. Do you have control?
I-
Yes, ma'am.
Can you please mute her?
What are we?
She should not be able to unmute herself if you mute her.
You're creating a
Do
narrative.
you have anything else to say, Council President Copeland?
I have, this is just so ridiculous. And with all the disagreements we've had with mayors past and controllers past, it's never come to this.
Council.
This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Based on the information we receive, we.
Do your job. Stop bringing defective legislation.
Just because you don't agree with legislation, that does not make it defective, Madam Controller.
It's wrong.
You may disagree, that does not make it defective. Just because you
It's wrong
disagree.
every time. It's defective.
So unfortunately, though we have about 20 departments and we have 5 council people and deputy commissioners, everyone in the city is wrong but the controller. So can we move on to the next item since there is no need for a vote?
Item number 11 is settling the claim of Christian Vanderberg Reed for the sum of $73,153.29.
We have to vote on
Yeah, you have to vote on that.
That,
So if you have any
That-
questions, ask me, I'll be glad to tell you.
it. Okay. We have a motion.
I'll move it, but go ahead. You got the second.
I second it. On the question,
Like a question. My vote for number 9 is no, my vote for number 10 is no, and my vote for number 11. I'm just saying no for that as well.
thank you.
These are all.
So
But
noted.
9 and 10 were already, they were on for
It's
discussion.
taxpayer money for the.
9 and 10, we already.
You got it?
Let the
None of
question.
this money is owed. Every school.
we have,
So,
I'm sorry,
we want
I
question?
was distracted. I didn't receive the motion or the second. I'm sorry.
I did move it and the mayor did second.
And I seconded it.
Thank you, ma'am.
But the question is, this. This is gonna be, like, how many more? You understand what I mean? It's not.
How many more?
This is a situation of, not the same as all the others. When you spoke about, salary contentions and, how many more of these do we have?
Well, that's a good question. You have a lot of grievances that are coming through, from employees not being paid properly. The city is, quite frankly, gonna have to start operating differently when it comes to, paying people properly. I have not had access to the payroll department. I believe that the comptroller has not allowed them access, and they don't have traditional free-flowing access, employees to resolve issues with payroll. I think the first response I got from Mr. Williams was yesterday related to that. I had Labor Council giving me back cases because they can't get information to resolve stuff with the comptroller's office. So what people, if they're not paid properly, they're gonna file grievances. If they're not paid properly, they're gonna file lawsuits. I agree, it's all unnecessary. So what we need to do is, we need to do things differently. Now, in this instance, what is important to remember about this is a civil rights lawsuit. This is, there are two claims and federal claims that the employee believes that the city is denying them their rightful salary. And upon our review of it, we are in agreement with that the employee was entitled to her salary. It was not being able to be resolved internally. The person went out, had to hire a lawyer, and now we want to mitigate damages. I made an effort to meet with the comptroller. She indicated that she was going to work with me and I was going to have access to her office. Then instead of meeting with me again, she ignored all of my emails and hired her preferred counsel, unauthorized attorney, to put an answer into her defense. We don't know how much she paid him to do that. He's done at least 6 actions that are unauthorized. There's no revenue code from the comptroller. We don't know how he's being paid, from where he's being paid. And so, since I don't have a person that can litigate this, I in turn have outside counsel. So now you're paying 2 attorneys on an issue that we are clearly clear that the city does not have a defense to, that the employee is entitled to this. This is where I go back to the comptroller not understanding the law and how her rejection of my services is a problem for the city and costly. Because her argument was that in the second year this person was entitled to income, that the salary in the budget was not what the Board of Estimate had adopted as the person's salary. Well, that was true. However, that's not a legal defense. Once a person's salary it is the city's responsibility to fund the person's salary appropriately. So that's an internal thing. When you have a lawsuit, they don't care that this person didn't transfer it. The person is entitled. You cannot reduce somebody's salary by 22% and then just say the money's not, that's not a legal defense. So we can go down this road and not settle this lawsuit, right? Which will be costly. I'm making the recommendation that before we call one witness, before we have depositions, before we do any of this stuff, which is going to drive up the cost of the settlement later down the line if we find out that the employee's allegations are correct, or we can cut our losses now and we can settle. Now, what comprises the $77,000 is the portion of it that is the employee's salary, the 9% what they're probably going to get, and their attorney fees. So, but let's be clear. This is a good settlement in the sense that they've said, we're going to cut our losses. Just give us our money. We're going to forego all of our allegations that the comptroller intentionally targeted this particular employee by not paying her properly. We can forego all of that, and we'll just take what is owed to me. Now, I am advising counsel, so I'm seeing all these lawsuits that are coming through. The cost of it is unsustainable. I have a law department that, based on the books, the comptroller, that I can tell, did not close out 2018, 2019, 2020. She just told you that late bills are coming downstairs. Yes, because law firms are coming to me saying, oh, by the way, we didn't pay. Our labor counsel, who has quit on us, told me that when I walked into this door, that day that I walked into this door, I owed them $300,000. The city budgeted $100,000. So now I'm doing labor cases, me personally, because we are spending way more in legal fees than we budget for. The budget is a fallacy when it comes to how much money this city is spending. And so I'm telling you what it is, and my recommendation is to do that. Otherwise, you don't have a lawyer right now today to defend this lawsuit. Lawyers are tired of it. Vendors are tired of it. The city is not paying their bills. And this has got to come to an end.
Thank you. Let me just unmute myself. So, based on the memo that we received and that was received with an initial check that was given to Ms. Reed, for 2018, based on July 2018, when her salary was changed, she was owed $812 of pay. 812 hours, the difference between what she was paid and what she should have been paid. 812 hours, and that amount came to $13,942. For 2019, since that was a full year, the difference in her hourly rate for $1,827 came to $31,369.59, for a total of $45,311, with interest on that being almost $4,100, and attorney's fees being $24,363. We are asking for this to be settled at $73,700, so that we can stop the attorney's fees and that we can also mitigate the settlement amount, or the, the amount that the court will fine for if we move forward with these civil rights charges around discrimination, harassment, and wrongful dealings. So hold on, I'm going to unmute the.
Hold on 1 second. But
I will
maybe she can
unmute you in a
answer.
second.
Maybe she can answer. My question to the comptroller, since she is personally named in this lawsuit, is why would she want to? She has indicated that we are spending money frivolously, right? She is aware that she has not paid any of my attorneys and that all the lawyers are quitting, all the outside counsel, that, by the way, most were pre-retained before me or court ordered. They have stopped working. Why would she want to continue this lawsuit with her unauthorized attorney who is not clear how she's paying him? If the issue is mitigating loss, then why he's the only one that hasn't complained about non-payment. The question is, why would she want this lawsuit to continue? And how is she gonna pay for it?
I'm gonna recognize the controller at this time, and therefore I will unmute her. Can you unmute yourself now? You're being recognized.
She's unmuted.
Facebook family and friends, this is corruption. They mute me, so I can't tell you what's going on. They are creating lawsuits and settling with people that work for the city of Mount Vernon. This is a court case, it's in federal court, and Corporation Counsel Brian Johnston is withholding a check from my office that was provided to this lady to pay her in full of what she was actually owed. She's been paid. He's creating a false narrative to give her almost $60,000 more of taxpayer dollars. That's the truth of the matter. So they need me so that I cannot tell you what is actually going on in the city. They are destroying the city right now with these frivolous settlements. They're also still hiring new people. They've gone beyond the $118 million budget. We need to have a budget. Mayor Patterson Howard is just sitting here trying to create a havoc and trying to bring people against me. Don't believe anything that she says. That's her agenda. That's what she does. She's done it at her past job, and she's bringing it to Mount Vernon. Don't believe anything this mayor says.
In the school district.
They give me, they talk about me, it's corruption, Mount Vernon. We have chosen, I didn't vote for her, but we have chosen the wrong person to run this city. She resembles the Thomas administration. She's settling all his bills that he created, all the things that he's done that is inconsistent with the law, because she's doing the very same thing. You act like people don't know me as Shawn Patterson Howard. They know who you are. So you can get your law department for you gave a $50,000 this year, and all of your employees that you gave raises, and they can talk about me all they want. It's meaningless. It doesn't matter. We are doing a fabulous job in this finance department mitigating risk that you cause. You and your law department. Bring the bills on time. That's how they get paid. Put the corrected count codes on it. That's how we get paid. We check it. We make sure that it's right. We mitigate the risk from the habit that you create. This is what you've been doing since day one that you came in office. Everything is upside down. It's backwards. All I see you doing is doing pilot programs.
We don't have an IDA, and since we don't have an IDA, we have not issued pilots. Okay, so now that we are off the topic, we're going to mute you again because clearly we are off the topic.
Would you like me to go to?
Yes,
submit
so
roll call?
we are going to the roll call. Thank you very much. Roll call, roll call,
Controller Reynolds, how say you on the motion, madam?
roll call,
Not gonna be free.
roll call,
What to help people with is actually happening.
roll call.
We don't wanna mute you, ma'am, we just want your
Roll call.
vote, madam, please. Thank you.
So you can roll, that's your job as a presiding officer. Roll call on the question.
Yes,
Not
ma'am,
just-
and the roll being,
Not to mute me.
and what say, you're not muted, ma'am. May I ask you for your vote, please?
I just muted her. She can put her piece of paper up. So it was on the question. She's chosen not to vote, so
Council-
please.
Council President Copeland, how say you, ma'am?
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard, how say you, ma'am?
Aye. Next item. Thank you. We've noted, please, the controller has put up a no. Since she refused to answer, she's put up a no. Can you please record her no?
Thank you, I recorded her
Thank you.
no.
Next item.
Item number 12 is under the category of tax review settlements. Settling tax review proceedings for 2 Lorraine Avenue for the sum of $18,663.59.
So moved.
Seconded. Can we take these
Can we take them as a group?
as a group?
Entertain a motion to take items number 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19 as a group. Is that what the motion is?
Yes.
And a second, ma'am? Ma'am,
Second. Hold on, I
Thank
have
you.
to unmute myself.
no worries, take your time.
Seconded.
We're gonna give the comptroller an opportunity. She put up a sign that she's on mute.
We haven't gotten to the question. We're
Oh,
just
okay.
seconding right
Okay,
now.
I'm
So when
sorry.
we get to the question, we will unmute her.
Okay.
On the question, you can unmute yourself. Controller Reynolds. Controller Reynolds, you can unmute yourself. I don't know if she's turned us off. Controller Reynolds, you can unmute yourself. She's sitting right there. It seems like she's chosen to
Right.
unmute. I can't see your sign. Can you hold it up higher? I asked you to unmute yourself, so you can unmute yourself. I asked you 4 times. You have the ability to unmute yourself.
These shows yours from the court.
Yeah, so that, I'll talk about that too, or Stephanie can talk about it. That's another fallacy that we have to
I
do.
unmuted her, but she has to unmute herself on her end.
Controller Reynolds, would you kindly hit your unmute button, please? Either on your lower left-hand corner of your screen
She hasn't even tried to unmute herself.
or under your participants log.
Controller Reynolds, you can unmute yourself at this time. Wow, this is incredible. Now she's choosing not to unmute herself.
All right, well, let's go on, because we got urban renewal.
Look at you, see, I just saw you put your hand to unmute yourself, so.
She's
please.
unmuted now.
She is
You're
unmuted.
corrupt, Mayor Michelle Patterson Howard. You're
Co-
totally corrupt.
Okay.
Controller Reynolds, there's a motion.
The law by muting the city's
Are you, you have, we are on the question. We are on the question, we are on the question.
It's the law, what you're doing, you're corrupt.
I am the chair and I am following Robert's Rules of Order on the question, on the question, on the question.
This is the Corporation Council.
On the question.
Watching this.
On the
Allowing
question.
this corruption to happen
On the question.
in Mount Vernon.
You are out of order,
You're out of order, don't mute me again.
you're out of order, so
Well,
People know what you do.
Madam
first
Controller,
out of order, will you please, do you have, on the question, do you have a comment on the certiaries?
First of all, you didn't read them in so people can hear what was going on.
Well, we motion to take a
We
vote.
motion to take them all at once.
And motion, and we have a
We
second.
motion and seconded, and
Take
so,
them as a group.
to take them as a group so that we can read them in.
Controller and executive of the city. She and her board council create false narratives that mute me and silence me so I cannot protect myself or the city. They go and they create all of these frivolous settlements so I cannot protect the city.
Point of order,
They
are,
intervene on lawsuits,
Okay.
but you won't allow me to do that.
Madam, respectfully,
You're talking about the attorney that protects you when you have
Yeah.
five protecting you.
and how
It's against the law.
say you on the idea or the motion?
Council is conflicted out because he's the one.
Point of order.
He emailed saying that I'm a liar.
point of order,
And that, you know, and so do you, Mayor Sean Patterson.
point of order,
So to the people of Mount Vernon, since
Point
you're
of order.
We
Let
can
them know
blame
exactly.
us,
okay, so I'm gonna have to mute you since you refuse
Your last
to.
job that you're doing now, trying to destroy Mount Vernon, like you did the white.
That's why I didn't want to happen.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, so can you, so we have,
So we were in discussion and a motion. Would you like to go to the roll call?
roll call for taking them all as one?
Mhm.
Yes.
And so we'll have to take her back off mute to do
Mhm.
that, or skip. What is your
I'll
preference?
take her off roll call to give her an opportunity to vote.
She's off now.
She's
Ma-
off, she's not on mute right now.
Controller Reynolds, how say you on the motion to take items number 12 through 19 as one item, to combine them, and I will read them once this motion,
City Deputy Clerk,
yes,
you're
ma'am.
also in violation, such as the Corporation Council would unmuting.
Are you
Thank you,
looking to
ma'am.
take these together?
Probably ended up doing the muting.
Thank you, ma'am, but
No, actually,
you're
he's
not
in the
muted.
room.
You're not muted.
He's not, but you have been muting me.
Yes, I have, because you've been out of order.
Your staff mute me
You have been out of order.
to the public.
Are,
Once again, on there, that's
you've
how
you've given your written pre-prepared speeches all throughout this meeting.
Order administration in these types of matters.
Thank you so much.
Madam
So-
Controller, would you like me to skip
Point of
and come
order.
back to you for your vote?
Point
for
of
item
order
number 12?
twice, point of order 3 times.
It's corrupt.
We're gonna move forward with the meeting since she has chosen not to vote, and I will mute you again.
Council-
My vote is no, don't mute me again.
Council President, how say you?
Instead of, we're voting on taking these as a group.
That's correct.
Okay, so.
We are taking these as a group.
Thank you. And Mayor Patterson Howard?
Aye.
And Controller Reynolds, how say you on the group vote to take items 12 through 19 as one motion?
You can unmute yourself now, Controller Reynolds. If you do it on your end, you can unmute yourself. She's voted no, but she's also choosing not to unmute herself. Thank you.
Thank you. And so noted. So we have items number 12 through 19 being read as such. Item number 12 is settling the tax review proceedings for 2 Lorraine Avenue for the sum of $18,663.59. Item number 13 is settling tax review proceedings for 120-130 Anderson Avenue and 716 Columbus Avenue for the sum of $106,868.52. Item number 14 is settling tax review proceedings for 125 West Sanford Boulevard, Sharp Enterprises for the sum of $6,457.24. Item number 15 is settling tax review proceedings for 28 East First Street, National Builders Association 2, Incorporated, for the sum of $9,683.20. Item number 16 is settling the tax review proceedings for 25 South Street, Daharo Limited, for $17,961.30. Item number 17 is settling the tax review proceedings for South Fulton Avenue. I will come back with, if there's a number. For South Fulton Avenue and South Fulton Avenue Realty Corp. for the sum of $18,385.98. Item number 18 is settling the tax review proceedings for 50 Bond Street, Bridgeton LLC for the sum of $111,743.31. And the last one is item number 19 is settling tax review proceedings for 39 Mount Vernon Avenue, or Tory Holding Corp. for the sum of $18,527.50. So reads the motion, combined motion.
So we were on the question on these?
We are seeking a motion.
The first motion was to take them as a group.
Okay.
And do I have a motion?
Oh.
To adopt it.
Someone-
To adopt, this is the adopted motion. This is for the adoption document.
No, this is for,
This is for the adoption of all
Did the
combined.
motion to have them read as one.
One was a procedural motion, the second one is now the vote.
I get it, but I have a question.
Yeah, but after.
But I moved it. That's what I was saying.
So we have, but I need a second before the question on the motion?
Yeah.
If I did, correct?
So I moved the items.
Thank you, ma'am. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, ma'am.
On the question, Controller Reynolds, are you there? Are you coming back to the meeting? You have the ability to unmute yourself.
Oh, maybe she's
So
coming up.
on the question, I have one question.
On
So
the
these
question.
items were, by the court, ordered these items, so these are not, I'm asking.
Good morning, all, yeah. These
And
are,
if you could just speak loud.
Yeah, you gotta
Pick
talk
you
loud.
up
This is
on
very
the
important.
Microphone.
yes, good morning, yes.
Controller Reynolds, you're unmuted now. Thank you for unmuting yourself.
Yes, these are the last, 8 tax certs for the calendar year two
But
thousand
here
and
we
nine.
go for her, hitting her employees against the controller,
Oh, Lord.
laughable.
These are the last 8 tax certs for the calendar year two thousand and nineteen. Even though we're in, 2020, the city hasn't paid any tax certs, settlements since, for the year two thousand and nineteen. Please note all of these, tax cert settlements, they were signed, by the Westchester Supreme Court judge. As I stated earlier, these are 2019, these are all outstanding. If the city does not pay these, we were put on notice about 2 weeks ago when our outside counsel, Joyce Brown, she's in, tax, via Zoom, she's in the, tax, certiorari, cases now for the city as we speak today. But we were put on notice 2 weeks ago. If the city does not pay the outstanding tax, settlement, for the prior years, we will be liable in interest and penalties going forward. So that was put on notice, by the judge about 2 weeks ago. And as I stated, these are the last of 2019. We haven't even looked at, 2020. As I stated many times before, this is, really no light at the end of the tunnel with these tax certiorari. These are commercial properties and they have the ability and the funds to file every year, with the tax certiorari, cases. Once we resolve them, they're 3-year freeze, and then after that, the following, 3 years, then they're back again, filing again, saying that they're overtaxed, as commercial, properties. The residential properties, you know, we have those scars this year, we have about 200 of those, for the residents, but they file on a yearly basis. And they're only frozen for a year, but they do not have the mass, reductions that come off the city tax roll that the commercial properties, have. So this is a huge, take-in and a huge loss that comes off the city tax base based on these, tax certiorari cases. That's valid.
Right, and I'd just like to add that historically, this is part of the budgeting problem, right? Historically, there've been budget, I think it was 750,000 at one time, then very recently it went down to 500,000.
Which is insufficient.
Which is insufficient. The real number, I'm told, is
Over
like 2.5 million. Now, we've
$2.5
kicked the can, as we've done, and I'm sure when we get into budget discussions, you'll have an opportunity to expound upon this. But the chickens are coming home to roost, because the courts are, you know, to your point, you're paying this judgment, we had to pay this judgment, but now what's happening is the judges are giving the 9% per annum interest. So we can have these political arguments, but they're not legal defenses, right? They're legal obligations upon the city. And I would just like to say that this is another area. We have a hardworking attorney, Joyce Brown, who has not been paid for 7 months. The comptroller is refusing to pay her. But we have an unauthorized attorney being paid unnecessarily so. But no,
And I'm just saying, we've made that point several times, so we get it.
right.
But the point I also want to make is, you know, when you said this has been kicked down, the can that's been kicked down the road until we can't kick it any longer, right now in 2020, we are continuously having to take out of the 2020 budget, which we're trying to handle. These tax certiorari's are for 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, 18, and 19. And the judges have said that if Mount Vernon does not pay these, we're gonna be in default. We will incur additional,
The judge did not say that.
we will incur additional.
talking about certiorari.
We're talking about tertiary.
Tax certiorari.
We're talking about tertiaries right now.
Controller didn't pay the bill.
We're talking about tertiaries. If you focus on the, hold on, please. If you focus on the meeting, Mount Vernon Public, if you notice, because you were paying attention, we are talking about tax certiorari's and tax settlements, which the judge has ordered these things, and these are going back to 2013. 2013. Madam Controller, thank you so much for your input. No, we've actually been paying bills in 2020 from 2018 and 2017. And so we expended the budget because you have not paid your bills for the last 3 years. Controller. Again, these are certiorari's as our assessor. So
Can we put the accurate record? I want to put the.
hold on, one second. Point of order, Controller Reynolds. Assessor Vanderpool, you're being acknowledged. I'm acknowledging you. Point of order 1. Point of order 2. Point of order 3. Controller Reynolds, I am now muting you so that Assessor Vanderpool can speak. Thank you. Okay. I'm, hold on, first of all, Mount Vernon Public, I am very sorry that you have to continuously be subjected to the irrational, unprofessional, unstable outbreaks of our controller. It's terribly unprofessional. Unfortunately, this is the lack of competence that we're dealing with right now. And we are sorry that it has to be broadcast and continuously embarrass our community. We are trying to operate these meetings with decorum and with respect, but she refuses to act in a professional manner. As the chair of the Board of Estimate and Contracts, it is my duty to provide a professional environment and keep these meetings in order. That is why we continuously call point of order. We give her opportunity, but we cannot allow her to just incessantly ramble on until her emotional challenges are dealt with at the city's expense and on our schedule. And so with that, I have muted her so that Stephanie Vanderpool, who serves as our assessor and who has served in that department for well over 20 years and has been doing this work very professionally and is recognized throughout the state, could acknowledge and answer any questions that we might have.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. I was going to state in reference to the tax certiorari.
And if you could just speak up louder, because
Yes,
we're
I was going
trying.
to state in reference to the tax certiorari cases. They are taken down to the controller's office by the law department, but the controller will not accept for payment.
No, just loud for this
Yes.
also.
Yes, so that's where we're at now. Currently, like I stated, we're at a standstill. I will state again that the court said that if we do not pay our outstanding tax certs, the city is going to be liable of interest and penalties for all of the outstanding tax certs.
And I need to chime in because the court has now gone from sending
Oh,
Joyce
sorry, I
Brown,
recognize our
I'm sorry, I'm
corporation
sorry.
counsel, John.
So the court has now gone from bypass our outside counsel, Joyce Brown, who does a great job for us, to directly contacting me, sending me basically daily emails, keeping me apprised of what's going on. So I'm aware, we're in unison. We're not telling lies, as we know that the court is fed up with the city of Mount Vernon. And so.
Thank you. Okay, you can unmute yourself now, Controller Reynolds, as we call for the vote. Controller Reynolds, you can
Controller.
unmute yourself. You have the ability to unmute yourself.
Madam Controller, can you,
Madam Patterson, Howard, told me again.
Madam Controller, how say you on the vote, on the motion?
The last administration doing the same thing. I'm allowed to speak to the people of Mount Vernon, and you're prohibiting that. That's against the law.
There are rules, there are point of order, there's point of
That's
order.
the type of behavior.
You're not gonna be able to rationalize with her, so.
And to say I'm crazy is something that you might. I'm definitely not crazy. I care about the people of Mount Vernon.
I didn't say you were crazy. I didn't say you were crazy. I said you were incompetent. That's the more accurate statement. Your incompetency, your incompetency is unrivaled. It's unrivaled. Your lack of education, your lack of experience, your lack of profession. So I'm gonna say this last thing. Controller Reynolds, I'm so sorry that I'm so sorry that the walls are closing in on you, and it is causing you to become increasingly unstable. You are aware that the legal walls are closing around you. You understand this. You understand that the walls are closing in around you, and so this is what you're doing. So point of order, I'm going to now mute you.
But-
Roll call.
One last chance.
Roll call.
We will come back to the
Roll call.
Controller. Controller Reynolds, we'll come back to Controller Reynolds. How say you, Council President Copeland, on the combined motion for items number 12 to
Certiorari that the
19?
court ordered, I say aye.
Thank you, ma'am. Council, Mayor Patterson Howard, how say you on the item?
I say aye on the certiaries. Can you please lift your paper so we could see your no more clearly? If you could lift it up a little bit higher. We need to be able to see it clearly.
Can you please raise it again, please?
Can you please raise it again?
If that is your marked vote, ma'am?
Okay, you can unmute
You are
yourself
muted, but
now.
kindly come off mute.
You can unmute yourself, Controller Reynolds. Controller Reynolds, you can unmute yourself. Wow. You can unmute yourself, Controller Reynolds. I've released your mute on this end. You can unmute yourself. Okay, can you please put your
We'll try
hand up
again.
since you've chosen not to unmute yourself now? Are you interested in voting? You can't make this up, Mount Vernon. I apologize. I apologize for everything.
All right,
that-
she's choosing not to vote. I mean,
Okay, she's chosen not to vote, so, thank you.
Stop money, people are.
Oh, look at that, you could have unmuted yourself.
How say you on the motion, Madam Controller?
We already know what you're doing, muting the comptroller, so she can't tell the Facebook family and friends that you can.
So why
And what
don't
would you like to
just do
tell
a
the
live?
Facebook family? What is your vote,
Why
madam?
don't you just go do a live?
Costing taxpayers millions of dollars, and you know. you can-
Okay, she's chosen not to vote.
She's choosing not to vote. We got another meeting to go to.
We have another meeting, Mount Vernon. We have our next meeting, which is the Urban Renewal Agency meeting. I muted the controller because she's chosen not to vote on the issue, or she's chosen not to vote. She can also, since she's putting up her I am muted, she can put up her no vote as well, which indicates that she would be voting against judicially ordered tax certiaries. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I move that we adjourn.
I second the adjournment. There being no further business, can you please take? the
Controller Reynolds, how say you on the motion to adjourn?
She cannot, she
Mayor,
cannot herself.
Council President Copeland, how say you?
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard?
Aye.
I'll come back again. Controller Reynolds, how say you on the motion to adjourn this meeting?
Is she muted?
She is
No,
muted, but we
she's
have
not muted
requested
on
her.
our end, she can
to
unmute
unmute.
herself.
Okay.
You have two votes
Ms.
to adjourn.
Vanderpool has to make something out of it, it's not clear. Ms. Vanderpool has to make can you lift it so we can hear it, see it? She has a sign up.
But
Okay.
you know, the comptroller said that we have not submitted stuff. She does have a camera in her office, and I hope she's maintaining those cameras
I'm sure
because
she's doing
I
that.
asked for proof.
Oh my goodness, look, she's all of a sudden able to.
Controller, how say you on the motion to
Can
adjourn,
you
madam?
take the vote on, are you willing to, give your vote on the adjournment? Okay, meeting is adjourned, meeting is officially adjourned. Thank you very much.
Come to the meeting so you can see what they're doing.
Oh, we're at